Hi, I'm Claudia Brown Coulter with Pivotal Peace. I'm your go-to mediator for navigating divorce while parenting children with special needs. I'm also a legal document assistant, LDA, based in the greater Los Angeles area. On Tuesdays, we talk about money. This is called Simplifying Your Divorce. Completing the California financial disclosure forms, because you know what? They are That's why none of y'all want to do them. Or you don't know how to do finances, or you're scared. So let's talk about this. Work on your financial disclosures early and often. Early and often, so you don't get overwhelmed. So, I know I say so a lot. I'm sorry. I'm going to work on that. Let's talk about the purpose of it. First of all, it's a legal requirement. It's not just to, be a thorn in your side. I already know what my spouse, does or has. Yeah, but a lot of people don't. And how can you make a law that says, hey, if you married somebody shady and they be hiding their stuff, they got to disclose it. But the rest of y'all, you don't have to. Oh, but that's not me. I'm not shady. Or they think it's ridiculous. Right? They need to make it so that it applies to everyone. Plus, if your spouse is shady. Also, there are people who one person and this is common, one person handles all of the finances and the other person has no clue. You got to do these. The requirement is that you fully disclose information about your financial situation. And you know what? They don't want to just know about your marriage. If you've been not divorced, but let's say you've been separated for a year or so. I'm sure you got some separate property up in there. You need to disclose that too. Okay. It's a foundation for a more equitable division. Things are in black and white. You know what to expect. You know what's there. You know what needs to be divided. It also creates transparency and trust. Although, it's not uncommon in mediation to be like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you either, and I don't need your trust. True story. Okay. But there has to be some trust if you're making a deal. You're making a deal in mediation, or you're making a deal at the kitchen table. You're divorcing amicably. That don't mean you always get along, so don't get it twisted. But there has to be some sort of trust. There has to be transparency. Trust me. If your spouse is lying, and they know and they hoping you don't call them out on it. But I know you know. Okay, so there's that so again. Let's go through the two most important forms. So financial disclosures in California require 4 forms: 140, 141, 142, 150. We're looking at the 142. This is the schedule of assets and debts. Everything you owe and own. And you need to be detailed about it. Things are going to go up and down. Market's going to change. You don't have to get every single penny right. You need to be close though. And if you complete your disclosures and 2 weeks later the market changes, it's probably okay unless it was something massive and drastic. For the most part, you just do the best you can with that type of thing. I did see it in the past prevent clients. They were constantly updating their disclosures because the market was so volatile, and it was like, just stop. You're never going to get a divorce. Communicate with your spouse, and as things change, you can continue to communicate, but we need to kind of move this on. Y'all have been trying to do this for a year or plus. Let's not sign it and move on. What's also on these documents, on this document, you're listing your vehicles, you're listing if you've got life insurance, whole life insurance, the kind that has a cash out value. You're listing any loans, investment, credit card debt, student loans, real estate, land, that's real estate. You're listing all of that stuff. You owe your brother's cousin, your half brother's cousin some money, you took out a loan. That's a debt. You need to list it on there. Sometimes there's a come to Jesus moment for the spouse, now realizing all of this stuff that's owed can be hard. You need to be honest. The other side of the coin is sometimes people like, oh, I can't fill this out because I don't know everything that my spouse has. That's okay. Fill it out to the best of your ability as it relates to you. And if you know about an account, maybe you don't have all the details, you can still list it. Because sometimes people accidentally forget to list things on their disclosures. List it on yours if you know it's there. It could be brought up in future conversations. The other one is the FL 150, the income and expense declaration. If you are filing for and requesting and will be receiving support or child support, you're going to need to file this form with the court. The 142, you don't have to file with the court. The 150, if child support's not involved, if spousal support's not involved, you still have to do them. You're not filing. You most likely, most of the courts will allow you to not file it. If they have an issue, you're going to find out when it gets to your judgment. They're going to reject it and have you come back and file it. I have had someone say to me, oh no, you only have to do one form. No, you need to do all of the forms, because when you are signing that one form to turn into the court to file, you are swearing that you did the other 3 forms. Do the forms. If you want to lie about it, that's cool, but don't come to me and expect me to lie about that. Do the forms. Your income and expense declaration, you are listing where you work, your employer's phone number, how much you make every month, what your union dues are, everything. Who you live with. Do I have to tell my husband the name of the person I'm living with? You living with them? Are they contributing? And sometimes it's like, but they're not contributing. Do I need to list them? Yes, people list their kids on there, 0. It's really gets kind of weird when it's like girlfriend, girlfriend's son, girlfriend's daughter. But hey, you know what? Kudos to him. He was honest. I don't think the girlfriend was a surprise, right? It'd been a long time coming. Got to list everybody that lives there. The baby ain't got to make no income unless they're on a commercial or something. 0 contributions. That's fine. It's requiring that you list that. They want your actual estimated or proposed expenses. They want to know like a snapshot of what is your parenting plan. Approximately what percentage of time do they spend with you versus the other parent. Then they want 2 months worth of your pay stubs, or 2 years of profit and loss statements, or last year's Schedule C. But you have to declare income unless you're unemployed or retired. If you do not attach some sort of income verification to your documents, they will be rejected. So here are some mistakes to avoid. Lying. Don't lie. Okay. That's not on my list, but you know it's always on my list. Please be honest. Incomplete information. Make sure that you've covered everything. This is why I said work on your forms early and often. If you're rushing to get things done, you're going to miss something. But if you take your time and do a little bit at a time, you're going to remember everything, or it's close to everything. So take your time to work through these forms and don't be rushed. It can lead to an unfair settlement. You could be accused of attempting to commit fraud if you don't list everything. You don't want that. Another mistake is inaccurate valuations. Now, some people get really technical to the point where the spouse doesn't even want the assets. They don't really care what it's valued at. Just like, get the freaking papers done type thing. But you want to make sure that as much as possible, it's accurate. Zillow is not going to be an accurate assessment of your home's value. Zillow is lying to you. But maybe you're not ready to get an appraisal. Maybe you're not ready to get a comparative market analysis. So you're just kind of throwing up a ballpark figure for the house. Okay. That makes sense. You might not get a total accurate valuation on your car. Okay. But you want to be close. You want to do the best you can. One gentleman in particular listed everything as being valued at 0. And his income and expense, 0. He makes no money. Remember what I said? Don't lie. They still in court. All right. And miss deadlines. You can drag this thing out by not doing this. Just your refusal to complete this because you hate numbers or you're overwhelmed. You got to do this. You know how you work best. If you get overwhelmed, you have to do things in bite sizes. Bite sizes? Bite sized. I don't know. Take a bite. Don't choke on it though. Don't do the whole thing at once. Have a little bit and put it down. A little bit and put it down. If you're overwhelmed to start with the mail. Take a month. That statement came, this statement, put it to the side. Little by little, you are getting it done. So, how can you ensure accuracy and completeness? Once again, don't lie. There's a big difference between lying and making a mistake. And it's all about intent. It's all about intent. And your spouse knows if you're a liar or not. And you know if you're lying or not. So come at these forms with the intent to do the best you can. Okay? You organize your documents. You have them come in the mail, you organize them, you put them in a folder, you put them someplace that you know when it's time to sit down, I have all this information. Here are all of the bank statements that I need and the credit card statements, and everything is organized. That is so important. It's going to decrease your overwhelm. Double check. Go back through, double check. Make sure you don't have an extra 0. Sometimes people write like they make $333,000 a month. Hey, I'm thinking this is a typo, but if I'm wrong, let me know. Oh, Claudia, sorry, that was a typo. Yeah, just double check. These are misstrokes on the keys. Double check it. It's okay. Take a look at it. You don't have to send it in tonight. Sleep on it, look at it tomorrow, then send it in. Totally cool. Consult with professionals. I will say, if you want real professional advice about the impact of these disclosures, you got to get them done first. If you need help getting these disclosures done, then that's a different conversation. Sometimes I have to call a person and be like, would you like to set up a meeting with me so we can sit down and we can fill these out together? Because they're taking a long time, and I know that overwhelm is the cause behind it. So I'm like, let's jump on Zoom. You gather your documents, and we'll do this in real time together so that you can get this done. No one said no yet. Everyone's like, oh, yes, thank you, please. And we get it done. In an hour, we get them done. Okay? So don't let overwhelm stop you. Consult with a professional who can help you. And then keep copies. Keep copies of your completed forms. Keep copies of the forms that your spouse sends you. Keep copies of the filed forms. Just keep a copy. Keep a copy. So if you're going through a divorce in California and you need help with your financial disclosures, if you're stalled on this, if you're not sure what to do and what's needed, if you're like, I know what to do and what's needed, but I don't want to do it, I need somebody else to do it for me, give me a call. Schedule a time to chat. I'd be happy to help you with these forms. You guys have a great Tuesday. Don't get overwhelmed. You're going to be okay.